Hi there, Steph. Thanks for popping by. So today I'm sharing with you this card using a Greeting Farm stamp set called Sweetie Bean. And you may have seen more Greeting Farm stamps in my recent cards. I'm basically having a crush on a few of the stamps. And this one is a rubber stamp, so it comes on like a rubber, I don't know how it's called, to be honest. You just cut it to size and you just stamp with it. The foam is cling. And I bought some used stamp set from that brand, and I didn't realize they were cling, and I removed the foam. So if you don't like the foam, like for example in a stamping tool, I find the foam is quite thick and it doesn't work so well with my homemade stamping tool. So, I removed it and it still stamps fine. I may not be able to sell it back, but I really like it, so I'm not too fussed. So anyway, I really like the images. They're really cute images. They're rather easy to color. They would be easier to color with Copics, but as you can see, I'm practicing with Prismacolour at the moment. And I received them for Christmas and I really like them. And I'm inspired by two people on Instagram, and I really I'm working hard to get better at it basically. So you will see a lot of Prismacolor in my cards in the coming weeks, I think, and probably more Greetings Farm stamp set as well, because I ordered a few more. I had a crush on all the Little Mermaids, not the tiny ones, but the one that are a bit bigger and you can order individually. And these ones are clear stamp set, so they do clear stamp set, but I'm not sure, but I think they only started recently. So anyhow, I started by picking 4 different shades of pink, one light, 2 medium, and 1 dark. I mean, the dark is more of a purple than a pink, really. But it's up to you. You pick the color you fancy. And I apply the lightest color, and then I just build up on the top of that. So I went light, I did a bit of that medium pink, then I will do that darker pink, and then the very dark. Let's call it purple for the sake of it, because I think it's more purpley than pink. But by doing that, so by building on a light layer, 2 mediums and 1 dark, and then going backwards, going back for the 2 mediums, and then the lightest one again to kind of blend in the end, I find that I get quite a good blending, and I've only been practicing with these crayons I call them crayons, sorry, because in French it's crayon, and in English it's pencil, so I mixed up my pencils quite literally. But it's the same thing when I say crayons, I mean pencils, so let's call them Prismacolor. And I think that after, a few cards, maybe 5 or 6 cards, I'm not saying I'm brilliant, don't get me wrong, but I think I've got the gist of blending and mixing. So I think working with 4 colors works pretty well. And then for this image, I've decided to go with a peachy skin tone. So there's this really light peach color, which is not called peach, it's called something else. And then there's another slightly darker peach color, which is really good for shading. So, at the hairline and on the jawline. And then you can add a little bit of blush on the cheeks. And I find that the makeup tutorials I watch are really helpful for that, actually. I did, not on this one, but I will on another one. I added a little bit of brown around the eyes to add a little bit of makeup and stuff like that. But they are kind of little girls, so I didn't, it's quite subtle. So anyway, then once I'm done with the skin, I start the dress, and I decided to go for something green and citrusy. The pink hair is quite unrealistic, but I don't know anyone with pink hair, that's what I mean. But I thought pink and green would go quite well. It makes me think of the fairy, and because she kind of has little wings, little cupid wings, I thought it would be quite nice to change from the traditional red color scheme. I will probably do her in red at some point because I really like shades of red. But I thought it would be quite nice to try something different. So once I'm done with the dress, I'm doing the wings. So I'm doing a bit of white and a bit of grey and a bit of white and grey again, and until I kind of build up enough. If you haven't watched my Prismacolor review, you may want to do so. I say everything I think about the product basically, because it's the first few times I'm using it. So I think, because I've used it a few times, I feel like I can kind of tell as a early stages of using a medium what I think about it, and I think it's pretty good. Despite a few lids broken, I think it's pretty good. But the coloring stage here is only one stage, and it's only half the time spent really. The second stage is all the dotting, and that dotting technique that I've seen on other people's work and I find amazing, and I'm really trying to learn how to use that. And you will see it's probably about half the video already, but it's quite cool. I think it gives a very different, I mean, you can do dotted technique with Copic as well, but I think it's kind of a different effect, and I quite like that. These crayons blend so well. If you think about the fact that the cardstock, sorry, I should have told you that, is Strathmore toned grey. It's quite thin cardstock, but the color is really cool, and the fact that the crayons entirely cover the cardstock, it blends so well that you don't even see the cardstock through. Considering it's not white cardstock, I find that pretty cool. And the final result is quite nice. I mean, I left this card quite simple after the coloring stage. I just did a stitch circle around the edges of the little sweetie bean. Here's the dotting stage, so I go on dotting for quite a while, to be honest. I'm trying to kind of learn the technique. I mean, where it's kind of a bit more shaded on the top of the wings, I used a Atius Pica silver glitter pen, and then at the bottom of the wings I use a bit more white, and here for the hearts at the bottom where the shading is, I use that purple gel pen that looks blue but it's actually purple, and then I put the white at the top where it's a bit lighter, and I kind of build up like that. And you should please do head over to my blog to see the photos, because I think it goes a bit quick in the video, but it's quite nice to see it up close. And it's you know, it's all the devil is in the detail, I suppose, because here there's quite a lot of detail as well. And I mean, you could do the hair if you wanted, but I think it looks quite nice on all the, you know, the artist work I've seen. I find the dots look the nicest when they are on the clothes, and it gives that not quite shimmering effect but sparkly effect, which I think is really cool. So once I'm done with all of that, I'm retracing my edges, and as I've said in my review of Prismacolour, this Sakura Micron Pixar don't really work with the Prismacolour. The Prisma seems to rub off on the tip, and it damages the things, the nibs of the Micron Pixar. So I've decided to stop with that. I tried a few times to see if it would work, and it wouldn't. So I just went back to the Sakura gel pen, and it works very well as well. It's just because it was a present I received, I kind of wanted to use it for that, but I'm sure it will work fine with Copics. It's just that waxy consistency of the crayons is not agreeing with the pigment pens. So I'm just retracing my edges, and you can see the difference already. I'm sorry it's a bit bright here, but you can see the difference with and without this retrace line, and it's really worth taking the time of retracing the edges to really see the difference. I think it looks really nice. And there's one thing, and I'm assuming everybody has the same problem, but I've never ever talked to someone about it. When I trace my, let's say, curved lines, I can only trace them in one direction, and I don't know how to explain it. But if I do it from top to bottom, the curve is fine. But if I do it from, let's say, bottom to the top, or maybe left and right, I'm not quite sure how to explain it, but I'm sure you've tried to do a curved line and it didn't quite work in the right direction, and I turn the paper around and it works. So if you find that you're struggling, you may want to try to turn the paper around and just do little segments, and that works pretty well. That was recommended by Kathy, to just try to follow the natural curve of the stamp, but not very long lines, like smallish lines. And yeah, it works pretty well. So here I did my stitch circle, and I added a bit of fun foam, and I just glued it on my car front. Really, it's quite simple. I did a bit of glossy accent because I really like glossy accent. And that's it really for today. It's very simple but very cute card for Valentine's Day probably. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you find it interesting. Please don't hesitate to subscribe to my channel and head over to my blog to see close-up photo. Thanks again and have a great day. Bye!